Hey folks, Jimmy Kimmel here. I love to travel, especially when I can get away from Guillermo. Navigating airport security is like explaining a joke to Matt Damon. Impossible. Airlines have more rules than my Aunt Chippy's retirement home. Did you know you can't bring a full-size bottle of shampoo on a plane? Some of these restrictions, they're just plain weird. Weird carry-on restrictions you didn't know. Buckle up, buttercups. For 29 things you didn't know you couldn't bring. Get ready to be surprised, amazed, and maybe even slightly terrified. Okay, maybe not terrified, but definitely amused. Stick around. First up, we've got those adorable little snow globes. You know, the ones you pick up as souvenirs. Well, the TSA considers those charming little trinkets potential weapons. Apparently that magical, shimmering liquid inside, they think it might be explosive. Look, I'm no scientist, but I'm pretty sure the only thing exploding is glitter. And nobody wants to deal with a glitter explosion at 30,000 feet. It takes weeks to get that stuff out of your hair. So next time, do yourself a favor and ship it. Okay, this next one really stings. You know how everyone's obsessed with those fancy artisanal honeys these days? Lavender-infused, wildflower, buckwheat, you name it, there's a honey for that. Well, hold your horses, Winnie the Pooh, because that delicious sticky goodness is public enemy number one when it comes to carry-on luggage. Apparently a jar of honey is just too risky for the friendly skies. And don't even think about sneaking it in. Those TSA agents have noses like bloodhounds when it comes to detecting contraband snacks. They can sniff out a rogue peanut butter cup from a mile away. So, unless you're willing to part with your precious honey or risk a sticky interrogation, I suggest leaving it at home. Trust me, your taste buds will thank me later. Alright, so, you're running late for your flight, you grabbed a yogurt cup thinking, hey, healthy breakfast on the go? Wrong. Apparently yogurt is just a suspicious goo to the TSA. It's considered a liquid, and we all know the 311 rule. You think you can sneak it past those eagle-eyed agents? Please, they've seen it all. They probably have a special yogurt-sniffing dog. They'll confiscate your breakfast faster than you can say probiotics. So next time you're rushing through security, leave the yogurt behind. Unless you want to be that guy arguing with TSA over a container of strawberry banana goodness. Trust me, nobody wants to be that guy. Instead, maybe grab a granola bar. It's not as exciting, but at least you can take it on the plane. This one really grinds my gears. Peanut butter. That delicious, protein-packed spread. It's a liquid? Since when? Did someone at the TSA eat a bad peanut butter and jelly sandwich and decide to take it out on the rest of us? Look, I get it. Security is important. But peanut butter? Really? That's where we draw the line? Next thing you know, they'll be confiscating guacamole and hummus. Actually, don't give them any ideas. So, if you're planning on enjoying a PB&J at 30,000 feet, make sure your peanut butter is in a container smaller than a baby hamster. Otherwise, it's staying on the ground. And nobody wants a lonely jar of peanut butter left behind at the airport. Except maybe Guillermo. He eats anything. Okay, this one might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people try to bring a bowling ball on a plane. It's heavy and raises eyebrows at security. Trust me, it's not worth the hassle. Number 6 on our list, a camping stove. The TSA has other plans. Even a whiff of propane can send security dogs into a frenzy. Leave the camping stove at home. Trust me, airplane food is bad enough. Next up, those big bulky power banks. They could jumpstart a small car. TSA considers them fire hazards. Nobody wants a Roman candle at 30,000 feet, it's a safety issue. Bring smaller power banks in your carry-on. Check airline regulations. Maybe just charge your phone before you leave. Avoid the hassle and risk. Coming in at number 8, we've got something that might seem harmless at first glance. A foam sword. You know, the kind you buy your kids at a Renaissance fair or a Comic-Con. Yeah, those are a no-go in your carry-on. So, if you must travel with your foam sword, check it in your luggage. That way, it can enjoy a nice, relaxing vacation in the cargo hold. Number 9 on our list might surprise you. It's a cooking pan. Who would bring a frying pan in their carry-on? But it happens more than you'd think. Leave the cooking to the professionals, or at least to those tiny bags of peanuts. Coming in at number 10, we've got fertilizer. You know, that stuff you sprinkle on your petunias to help them grow big and strong. Apparently some people think it's a good travel companion. Maybe they're worried their plants will get lonely without them. Listen, I get it. You're proud of your prize-winning roses, but trust me, they'll survive a week without you. And even if they don't, I promise you, bringing fertilizer on a plane won't help. The TSA is not messing around with this one. They're not going to let you turn the cabin into a giant greenhouse. Plus, can you imagine the smell? So, do yourself and your fellow passengers a favor, leave the fertilizer at home, your plants will forgive you, and you won't get a weird look from the TSA agent. Number 11 on our list of banned carry-on items is gel candles, those fancy candles that look like a margarita or a bowl of fruit. Yeah, they're a no-no. TSA says, not today, Casanova, leave the gel candles at home. Alright, so we're talking about weird stuff you can't bring on a plane, and this one's for all you cheeseheads out there. Apparently, some people love their cheddar so much they try to fly with entire cheese wheels. I get it, airport food is terrible, but are you really going to whip out a wheel of brie at 30,000 feet? The TSA might mistake it for some kind of dairy-based weapon. Plus, imagine the smell. It's bad enough when someone opens a tuna sandwich, but a whole wheel of stinky cheese? The other passengers would be staging a mutiny. So yeah, leave the cheese wheel at home. Unless you're flying private, then hey, fill the whole plane with cheese for all I care. Corkscrews with blades, not allowed on planes. Seems obvious, right? You're not MacGyver. Save the wine for after you land. They serve wine on the plane, or buy airport wine. Get a travel corkscrew. Avoid TSA trouble. Okay, so knitting needles. Apparently, these are considered dangerous weapons in the wrong hands. And by wrong hands, I mean anyone's hands at 30,000 feet. Maybe save the knitting for when you're safely on the ground. There's plenty of time to make that sweater for your cat, Mittens. So, yeah, leave the knitting needles in your carry-on, unless you're willing to explain to airport security. Alright, so you're flying coach, you're crammed in your seat and you're thinking, a little mini bottle of tequila would really take the edge off. Well, hold your horses, Hemingway. Those tiny bottles aren't always a sure thing in your carry-on. Some airlines are cool with it, others not so much. Check with your airline before packing your mini bar. Or, just embrace the chaos and see what happens. Next up, we've got dry ice. Now this isn't your average bag of ice. This stuff is serious business. It's so cold it could make a polar bear shiver. Perfect for keeping drinks cold or transporting organs. But you can't just bring it on board. TSA has rules about this stuff. Too much dry ice can cause a disaster. Check with your airline for regulations. It needs to be properly ventilated. You don't want to set off the smoke alarm. Better safe than sorry with dry ice. Unless you're going for the mad scientist look. Alright, let's talk about golf clubs. You'd think they'd be allowed in a carry-on, right? Wrong. TSA considers them potential weapons. So, check those clubs to avoid hassle. Better safe than sorry. Alright, this one should go without saying, but apparently, some people need a friendly reminder. You can't bring fireworks on a plane. I know you're thinking, but Jimmy, what if I want to celebrate my arrival in style? Well, save the pyrotechnics for the ground, my friend. Trust me, nothing screams suspicious passenger like trying to sneak a Roman candle through security. Plus, can you imagine the chaos if those things went off mid-flight? We'd have screaming babies, panicked passengers, and probably a very grumpy pilot. And knowing my luck, I'd be seated next to the guy who thought it was a brilliant idea to bring fireworks on board. So do us all a favor and leave the explosives at home. You can thank me when you land in one piece. This next one is for all you amateur pyromaniacs out there. You know who you are. Don't even think about bringing gasoline on a plane. I mean, come on, folks. Do I really need to explain this one? It's flammable, it's dangerous, and it smells like a NASCAR race gone wrong. I'm pretty sure the only thing gasoline is allowed to fuel at an airport is an actual airplane. And even then, they've got trained professionals handling that. So, unless you're planning on hijacking the plane and flying it yourself, which I highly advise against, just fill up your tank before you get to the airport. And if you're thinking of bringing a little extra in a water bottle, don't even. Just don't. You'll thank me later. Okay, this one is for all you adrenaline junkies out there. You know who you are. Leave the paintball guns at home, TSA sees them as real guns, avoid the hassle at security, or better yet, just leave it at home. Alright, we're getting to the duh portion of the list, folks. Number 21, gasoline. You'd think this would go without saying, right? It's not a sippy cup, you can't just bring a little bit. And no, you can't convince security it's your emotional support fuel. Trust me, I've tried. Apparently, some people think they can just fill up their checked bags with a few gallons. Let me paint you a picture: 30,000 feet in the air, a spark, and boom! You're starring in the sequel to Snakes on a Plane, but with a lot more fire. So leave the refueling to the professionals, okay? Unless you're planning on flying private, in which case, can I get your number? Because anyone who travels with that much gasoline clearly has a direct line to Putin. Coming in at number 22, we have fireworks. And yes, I know what you're thinking. But Jimmy, what if I want to celebrate my arrival in style? Well, here's a newsflash. Nobody cares. Seriously, the last thing anyone wants after a cramped, turbulent flight is you setting off bottle rockets in baggage claim. Look, I get it. Fireworks are fun. They're loud, they're bright, and they smell like victory. But there's a time and a place for everything, and that place is definitely not 30,000 feet in the air. Besides, wouldn't you rather save those pyrotechnics for something truly special? Like, say, the grand opening of your new chain of airport security-themed escape rooms? Number 23 on our list of things you can't bring on a plane is bleach. And no, I'm not talking about the kind you use to get grass stains out of your kid's soccer uniform. I'm talking about industrial strength. I'm about to clean this whole plane from top to bottom bleach. Look, I get it, airplanes can be germy places. But here's the thing, you're not the only one who's worried about germs. Airlines have entire teams of people whose sole job it is to clean those planes. So, unless you're planning on performing open-heart surgery on your seatmate, you can probably leave the bleach at home. And if you are planning on performing open-heart surgery on your seatmate, can I interest you in a different YouTube channel? Alright, this one seems obvious, right? Hairspray, highly flammable, potential weapon, all the makings of a TSA nightmare. So do yourself a favor and pack that hairspray in your checked bag. Your fellow passengers will thank you. Okay, this one should go without saying, but apparently it needs to be said. Fireworks? On a plane? Seriously? Definitely not 30,000 feet in the air. You gonna light a Roman candle in the aisle? You'll end up tackled and in an airport jail cell. Just leave the pyrotechnics at home, okay? There's nothing more festive than landing safely. Okay folks, I thought we were done with the obvious ones, but apparently some people need a little extra help in the common sense department. Bringing gasoline on a plane? Seriously? Who does that? It's like saying, hey, I'm about to step into this giant flying tinderbox filled with hundreds of people. Mind if I just sprinkle a little accelerant around, you know, for good measure? I'm not even going to dignify this one with a joke, just don't do it. If you need to transport gasoline, there are much safer and more appropriate ways to do it, like, you know, driving. And if you're thinking about using it to start a fire in the lavatory because the coffee wasn't strong enough, well, I hope you like the taste of prison food, because that's exactly where you're headed. Alright, we're back with more things you didn't know you couldn't bring on a plane. Number 27, gasoline. Who's trying to sneak a canister of unleaded onto a plane? Maybe they're worried about running out of gas mid-flight. I didn't know it was BYOB. Bring your own gas. Planes run on jet fuel, not unleaded. Leave the gasoline at the gas station where it belongs. You can't bring your pet tiger on a plane, right? Who wants to be stuck next to a tiger? But the TSA lets you bring miniature horses. Yes, miniature horses. They're considered service animals. You might share an armrest with a tiny horse. Okay, this one is a little bit morbid, but hey, it's important to be prepared, right? So you're probably thinking, Jimmy, you can't be serious. You can't bring human ashes on a plane. Well, my friends, you would be wrong. Apparently, the TSA allows you to bring cremains in your carry-on luggage. Now, I'm no expert on funeral etiquette, but I'm pretty sure that's not what they mean by rest in peace. Can you imagine being the TSA agent who has to inspect that? Sir, can you please open your bag? I just need to make sure your grandma isn't packing any contraband. I don't know about you, but if I'm ever reduced to a pile of ashes, just scatter me in Disneyland or something. Don't stuff me in an overhead compartment. So there you have it. 29 weird and wonderful things that might get you stopped at airport security. The next time you're packing for a trip, think twice about that snow globe, that jar of honey, and especially that urn full of ashes. Okay? Flying isn't just about what you take with you, it's about what you leave behind. Like your dignity when you try to argue with a TSA agent about your emotional support peacock. Which of these surprised you the most? Or have you had something weird taken away at security? Like that time I tried to bring a whole watermelon through. Drop your stories in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more travel tips and hilarious packing fails. See you in the next one.